Hey everybody, Kyle Sasker here, and it's everyone's favorite time of the month. That's right, market statistics time. These statistics are for Hillsborough County. Let's dive on in there. Now, you're probably asking yourself, Kyle, we are in the middle of August. Why are we looking at July numbers? And the reason why is because real estate statistics, they take a little bit of time for the numbers to be compiled by the local realtor boards, assembled in a wonderful looking report like this, and then presented to yours truly. And also during the normal course of the year, we have a natural ebb and flow of the real estate cycle, so we can't really compare month to month. As a really good example, July is going to be quite a bit different from August when school starts, so we naturally have a little bit of a dip there. So it's usually best to compare year over year. Obviously, 2020 was a little unique in the fact that we had COVID, which was a pretty major disruption to the real estate market, especially in March and April. Once we hit July 2020, though, things had changed quite a bit. So if you want to go back and look at that video, you can see where I started ringing the bell about a market change. And funny enough, this month's numbers actually has a similar indicator, so be sure to watch this entire video. So you probably noticed that I am recording from a brand new location here. This is not, well, there's a little bit of water back there if you look, but you're probably noticing a little bit different location. So this is actually my office in downtown St. Petersburg. The KW St. Petersburg is located in the BB&T building downtown, 6th floor. If you're ever downtown, feel free to ring me up and come down. Meet you if you want to tour the place. I'll give it to you. But one of the reasons I got this office was so that I could have a more permanent studio set up, so I could pump out great videos and information for you like this. And to be completely honest, it is an amazing view, and it's really awesome to sit here and watch the storms roll in. So directly down stairs here, this is Central Avenue right here. And then across the street there, that is the St. Petersburg Municipal Parking Lot and Municipal Services Building. So building permitting and all that stuff is right across the street there. And then right on the corner, that's, well, it used to be Lucky Dell. I don't think they're a thing anymore. At least that one's not. You know, Ruby Elixirs and all that stuff is right there. So again, very cool spot, and happy to be here and bringing you some great information. So if you've been watching the videos, you know that the overarching trend has been fewer and fewer houses for sale, while demand has held steady and has actually risen. Just tons of people from around the country wanting to come and move to Tampa and the surrounding areas. So, and that is reflected in the stats. Now, there is a shift that I am seeing in these numbers, and I've seen it for a couple months now, so I'm getting a little more confident that we are actually seeing a market shift currently. Now, that's probably not going to show up in the numbers for another few months. That's just kind of the nature of real estate. It just takes a while for all that stuff to work itself out. But I have basically that trend has continued, and I'll explain it as I go through here. So the total number of closed sales is down 7.8% from 2,248 to 2,073 homes. So that is significant because for the last few years, that number has been building higher and higher and higher. So even though we've had fewer homes for sale, we've still been selling more houses than ever. Total number that's been paid in cash has more than doubled. That has gone up 123% from 264 homes to 589. Now, a lot of people see that number paid in cash and they instantly think like investment properties and people people getting deals. That is not the case with that number. So the reason that paid in cash number is so high is it is from people who have cashed in like a retirement or sold another property or just had the money hanging around, and they're trying to put forward the best offer possible. And the best offer possible is going to be a high cash offer. So if you've been in the market to buy, you know that you've been submitting offers and you've probably been beaten out by higher cash offers. That's just kind of how things have been. Still possible to get an offer accepted with financing, but you do have to take care to craft that offer carefully. So if you remember your math class from ages and ages ago, if you were my age, you remember that average is you add up the total number of houses for sale, and then you divide it by the total number of houses for sale. That gives you the average. Median is a little different in that you take the total number of houses for sale, and then you find the middle point where the same number of houses are priced higher and the same number of houses are priced lower, and that's going to give you the median. Personally, I like the median sales price better than the average, and the reason why is because when you're working with an average, if you have an unusual number of high-end or low-end properties, it can really affect and pull that number one way or another on any given month. So, like if you have a couple, $8 or $10 million properties, it can really yank that number higher. So median sales price is up 20.9% from $289,470 to $350,000. That is a very nice and round number. Average sales price is up 15.8% from $365,721 to $423,427. Dollar volume is up 6.8% to a total of $877 million. Also almost $1 billion transacted in 1 month. The next one I don't cover too often, but I just want to point it out here just because it is a little unusual. So, and that is median percentage of original list price. So what this is of the houses that have sold, what percentage of the original list price is the final sales price? And that is up 1.2% to 100%. So basically, if you were wanting to buy a house in July 2020, 2021, the average is you need to be at asking price. That's just the current state of the market. It's definitely going to change, don't get me wrong. It's definitely going to change at some point. But currently, we're still at that asking price number. Median time to contract, which is how long a house is active on the market before it goes under contract, is down 77.3% from 22 days to 5 days. And that is a huge drop. So that means that you have to be cooking if you're looking to buy. You have to be willing to either do offers sight unseen, or you have to be able to go and look at the properties within honestly 2 days. Especially if it's a high demand property. Like if the inside of it's in great shape and it's basically move-in ready, you just have to anticipate you need to go look at it within the first day or two. Number of new listings. So this is where we start to see the change. So the number of new listings is up 15.1% from 2,104 homes to 2,420. So looking at that number, again, first thought is that July 2020, things were a little weird there. Number of new listings were suppressed just because of COVID, all that stuff. However, and I'll show you this a little bit later, I've actually have comparisons compared to 2019 and 2018, and compared to those years, we are still up, which is a change. So what I read that as is that the people who decided to hold off on selling whenever COVID hit, they have now reevaluated that decision and are bringing their house to the market for sale. It's not every one of them at once. That's why it's only, like 15% increase. But we do have more sellers coming to the market and selling a home. So the number of new listings is actually up 15.1% from 2,104 to 2,421. So we have more houses coming on the market for sale. And we actually have more than, so we definitely have more than 2020, which was a little weird, but we actually have more than 2019, which is awesome. So what that means is that basically the people that decided not to purchase whenever the pandemic started have now revisited that decision and have now decided to put their home up for sale. It's not enough to immediately affect the market, but it is enough where, given enough time, we should see a bit of a shift. Total number of inventory, so this is all active single-family homes for sale, is down 29.3% from 2,526 to 1,786. So that is really, so the number of new listings is definitely higher, and that's great. But what we really want to see is we want to see that total active inventory once that number starts moving up significantly, that is when we should see prices relax significantly. Not necessarily come down, but not climb as high as they have been the last few months. And then month's supply of inventory, which I don't touch on this one too much just because it's kind of a weird stat. It's kind of hard to explain. But basically what this number is if no new homes were listed for sale at the current rate of selling homes, how long could we last? And that number is down 35.7% from 1.4 months to 0.9, which is actually faster than Pinellas County. So there's more demand and fewer homes in Hillsborough County than there are in Pinellas County currently. That's probably just a little bit of a fluke, but definitely something interesting and something to keep an eye on. Now, you do definitely need to dive a little bit further into these numbers. Specifically to get down to the price point. I mean, there definitely is a difference between various neighborhoods and stuff like that, but this report doesn't have that breakdown. But we can take some generalizations based on the price point. So, and the reason why is because a $1 million house is going to sell a little bit differently than a $300,000 house. So, the first one I'm going to go over is total number of closed sales by sales price. The numbers on the surface look a little weird because it looks like there is a ton more new $300,000 to more than $1 million houses. And you'd kind of be, if you're looking at this on the surface, you're like, oh, well, I guess they're just building a ton of new homes here. There is some of that, but most of this is because the lower priced homes have slid up into a new price bracket. So less than $50,000, there was a total of 0 houses in Hillsborough County sold in July 2021. 50 to 100,000, there was a drop of 76.2% to 5. There was a total of 5 houses under 100,000. 100 to 150,000, there was a total of 22, which was a drop of 56.9%. $200 to $250,000 was a drop of 66.2%. 250 to 300 was a drop of 21%. Once you hit 300,000, though, it flips. So $300 to $400,000, there was actually up. There was actually more homes sold in that price point. It was up 36.3% to 665, and then 400 to 600,000 was up 44.2% to 512. And again, the reason why is because homes that were $250,000 are now up in the 310, 320 range, and homes that were like 450 are now up in the mid fives. And then that holds through all the way to $1 million, which is up 20.3% to 71 total homes. Now, there are definitely some new constructions going on that affects those numbers a little bit, but honestly, Pinellas County, there is no new construction, and those numbers are the same. So that's more of the price of those homes sliding up into a new bracket. Median time to contract, I'm not going to go over every one of these, but suffice it to say you have all of them are pretty much 5 days. The average is you have 5 days from the time a house goes up for sale to the time it goes under contract. If the house is in really good shape or is in high demand, that is going to be much, much quicker, probably 1 day or 2 days. So if you're looking for a house, you really have to be on the ball and ready to go. The only outliers is $50,000 to $100,000, which actually dropped 27.3% to 16 days. So, and which sounds crazy that a $50,000 to $100,000 house actually took almost 2 weeks, which is almost 3 times more than a regular house. The answer to that is more than likely that it was a complete disaster house that was asking way too much money. Next up, we have the total number of new listings. So $0 to $50,000, there was a total of 0 the houses that went up for sale. $50,000 to $100,000, there was a total of 6, which was a 62.5% reduction. $100,000 to $150,000 was a 47.1% reduction to 27, and so on and so forth. And then again, we hit that $300,000 mark, and then it flips. There's actually more. So 300 to 400,000 is up 53.8% for a total of 769 homes that went up for sale. 400 to 600,000 is up 71.9% for a total of 605, and so on and so forth. And then we get to total inventory by list price, and it's basically down across the board. It's just a question of how how severe. So 50 to 100,000 is down 73.9% to 6. 100 to $150,000 is down 35.2% to 35. 150 to $200,000 is down 42.6% to 70. 200 to $250,000 is down 55.8% to 134, and so on and so forth. Basically, there's more homes going up for sale in those higher price points, but they are getting bought so rapidly that the total number is continuing to decline. Last page here is what I like to call the doom and gloom page. So if you've been paying attention to the news or just the general goings on of the country, you will know that foreclosures, short sales, and bank-owned properties, there's a bit of a moratorium on foreclosures and evictions. So these numbers are suppressed. Now, some people do think that once that moratorium is lifted, that we're going to have this huge flood of foreclosures and short sales hitting the market. To be completely honest, I don't think that's the case. It would take an overwhelming number of them to significantly affect the inventory. And one, I don't think there's going to be that many. And two, if there are that many, it's going to take a very long time for them to get sorted out. Like, there's just not enough people to process that many foreclosures and short sales. So there's just the logistics of it. To kind of back me up a little bit, the chief economist of the Florida Realtors, which again, grain of salt, just because of his position. But what he said was that if everyone that was in forbearance or is in trouble with their mortgage, if every one of those houses hit the market today, that we would only go from 1 month of inventory to 3 months. And that means we are still in a seller's market. It would definitely weaken the seller's market significantly, but it's not really a buyer's market until you get into like 7, 8, or 9, 6, 7, 8 months of inventory. That's when you start to hit like the buyer's market. And then the other part of that is that the government is actually required now that lenders make a diligent effort to work with people who are having trouble paying their mortgage. So, they have forbearances, they have deferments, all these other things. So they can't immediately go to foreclosure like they could back in the day. And I've had a few people that have called me with a forbearance and they're like, I'm not sure what to do. I'm thinking about selling. So I provide them a price, and then they reach out to the bank and they're able to work it out with the bank. So it's not as clear cut and dire as like 2008 through 2009, 2010 was. So take these numbers with a grain of salt because we do still have the moratorium in place. So the total number of foreclosures have dropped 83.9% from 31 to 5, and the total number of short sales has dropped 57.1% from 21 to 9. So I want to thank you again for tuning in to Great Homes Tampa Bay here in the monthly real estate statistics for July 2021. My name is Kyle Sasser. If you are interested in buying or selling a home in the entire Tampa Bay area, I would love to help you out. You can also check out the other videos on this channel. Lots of great information there on the nuts and bolts and kind of behind the scenes of actually buying and selling real estate. How to negotiate the process, and how to choose the best home for yourself. My phone number is 727-300-2111. Yes, my hair is a lot longer than my picture. I do need to get updated headshots as well, which is on my radar. Should be doing that in the next couple weeks, so stay tuned for that. Other than that, if you have any comments or questions, please be sure to leave those down below. I will 100% get you a response and an answer. And thank you for tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon.